Hey folks, welcome to another travel guide. This time we're on the Costa del Sol in Spain. I booked this holiday through Love Holidays and I paid £750 for 9 nights or 10 days, and that was for half board. I never do full board as I'm usually out during the day, so I'm not in the hotel to actually make use of the drinks or lunch or anything, and so I find it a bit of a waste of money for me. I had a direct flight from Stansted Airport to Malaga, and the Malaga Airport is quite nice. It's not that large, and I was able to get through customs and border control in about 40 minutes, which is pretty quick. Now, if you're staying in any of the resorts from Malaga down to Fuengirola, that would include Benalmadena or Torreblana, the easiest way to get there is by using the C1 train, and that train is fairly regular. That's the train I took most of the time when I did my sightseeing, and the train is really cheap. It only cost me €3 or €4, and it's very convenient. So I was staying at Torreblana, and it was about a 40 minute journey from Malaga Airport, where I caught the train, right down to Torreblana, and then it was only a 5-minute walk from my hotel. So the train is definitely the easiest way to get down to travel on the Costa del Sol if your resort is anywhere near the beach. Like I mentioned, I stayed in Torreblana, and this is the beach that was in front of my hotel. My hotel was like one street behind and about a 5-minute walk. The beach itself is really clean. I didn't see like a lot of rubbish or paper and stuff on it. The water is really clean. There wasn't, stuff in it that I could see floating around, and it was really warm, as you would expect from, a Spanish beach in the middle of summer. There are plenty of things to do up and down the Costa del Sol, and I spent quite a lot of time going to different areas of Spain, and the Costa del Sol was the place where I see more activity sports than anywhere else I've visited in Spain. As you can see here, they've got these paddle cars, but you can also rent jet skis and wave boards and do parasailing and things like that. And that is all up and down the Costa del Sol, right from basically Malaga right down to Fuengirola. Every couple of kilometers you'll see a place where you can rent things or hire bikes and stuff like that. So if you're into doing more adventurous type stuff rather than just sitting on the beach and sunbathing, the Costa del Sol is like one of the best places I've visited, and the prices are not bad as either. It's quite competitive, and you can always kind of look around and find another place which is slightly cheaper if you want to do some type of activity like a boat trip or something. Like I said previously, I was there at the end of July, first week and a half in August, and you can see the beaches are fairly packed. I mean, this is kind of like peak season now, but I didn't find it so packed that you couldn't always get a space on the beach, to have your own little spot. And that was even right down by the water, and that where, if you go to a lot of Spanish beaches, it's like by the time you get to the water's edge, it's like a lot of people have kind of packed in, and you can't get anywhere to sit because there's always some sun umbrella or people have like kind of crammed in. But I found it was like you had more than enough space to kind of just relax by yourself, and if that wasn't if it was a little bit packed, you could kind of go down the beach 50 or 60 meters, and you would generally find a place that wasn't as packed. Like I mentioned, there's tons and tons of activities. You can see some, I think this is like parasailing here, and this, like if you're down on the Costa del Sol, you'll see a lot of these. They're all up and down the beach, and the prices like vary on the rentals. You'll just have to stop into like one of the shops to find out the exact price as well. Here you can see, here's a jet ski as well. You'll see these all over the place as well if you'd like to, if you're into renting that type of stuff. If you've never visited Spain, then one of the things you need to know about it, especially along the coastline, is it's got tons and tons of places to eat. It doesn't matter whether you're in the Costa Brava, Costa Dorada, Costa del Sol, you will always find a ton of restaurants. You can't walk for more than 50 feet without finding another restaurant that looks really good. And I have to say that, it doesn't matter where you go. I've been like all up and down the Spanish coast, and the food everywhere I go has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, and you'll get a variety of food. You can see that that food there was Asian food, and I stopped in at a small restaurant right next to the main bus station in Fuengirola. I was waiting for a bus to go down to Gibraltar, and I had a bit of time, so I just grabbed something quick to eat. The other thing is nightlife as well. Costa del Sol has absolutely ton of nightlife, ton of bars that are open late, ton of restaurants that are open late. You can easily stay drinking till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The whole place is lit up all night, and you basically can't walk for 50 feet without finding another bar that looks really, really nice to go into. There's also sports bars as well, so if you want to watch like some English football or rugby or something like that, you can easily find a bar that's playing the English football as well. If you're into shopping, then Fuengirola has quite a large shopping centre called the Miramar, and it's basically just like any other large shopping centre, obviously smaller than like Westfield or something, but it has all the same type of shops that you would want. Obviously they're Spanish and not English and that, but you can get everything you need. Like if you want to buy some clothes, or you need a mobile phone, or you want to get something to eat, all these shops are down there. And there's 2 floors on this. Actually there's 3 floors, and if you go up to the top floor, right at the end of it, there's actually quite a good view overlooking Fuengirola, and there's a race car track as well up there, where you can rent go-karts and race them around the top. I didn't bother to do that because I was like a little bit pushed for time, but I went right up the top and had a look, and it's definitely, if you want to spend half a day, maybe get some different types of food or something, or have a look at something else, then it's definitely worth visiting, especially if you've got kids. And it's quite close. This here is an old castle in Fuengirola, and it's from the actual Miramar shopping centre. This is about a 15-minute walk, and the castle is like right on the beach here, so you can see you walk down from the shopping centre 10 or 15 minutes and you're basically back on the beach again, and then the castle is just beside it as well. So I walked right through along this promenade here, and you can walk right through all the way up the Costa del Sol if you want to, but obviously that's quite a long walk. But I walked right through to the train station again, which I was kind of going slow and having a look around, and it took me about half an hour to get to the Fuengirola train station, and then I caught the train back to my hotel in Torreblana. But it's a really nice promenade to walk along, and if you want to like sit down, there's always plenty of places to sit down, have a cup of coffee, have a cold beer or something. The beach is right there. It's a beautiful place just to stroll along. You can see here the sun umbrellas and those reclining deck chairs all up and down the Costa del Sol. You'll find places to rent those. I don't usually rent them myself, but they're quite popular, and if you want to stay out of the sun, if you don't want to get burnt, it's always good to have one of those sun umbrellas. You can see a lot of people take their own. I usually just sit right next to the kind of waterfront, and then when I get hot, just go for a swim. That's what I prefer. But if you're kind of like just into like relaxing by the beach all the day, it's always good to maybe rent something like that. And you can see here on this part of the beach, see how I mentioned that the Costa del Sol doesn't get that busy. This is, like I said, I was there end of July, first like week and a half of August, and you can see there's plenty of space on the beach, to sit down. Even at the waterfront, you would find somewhere to put your towel down. The Costa del Sol is not my favorite beach. Lapaneda in the Costa Dorada is my favorite beach, and if you compare this beach with the Costa, with Lapaneda, the Lapaneda beach is probably 3 or 4 times the width of this. Which means that there's, you've got a lot more space. But even so, even this being a smaller beach, like not as wide, you can still find plenty of places to sit down right at the waterfront. So it makes it still, a really, really good place to, go on holiday. Now, I mentioned traveling at the start of this video, how I got from Malaga Airport to my hotel, and you can see here this is one of the train stations that you can catch to go up and down. And obviously, one of the ways you can definitely save money going to the Costa del Sol is by basically not booking transfers. So, it's going to cost you, say, £30-40 to book a transfer to and fro from your hotel. But if your hotel is anywhere near the train station or anywhere near the coast, you can use, and you can walk it in 5 or 10 minutes. You can definitely save yourself, £40-50 on transfers, because the transportation system on the Costa del Sol, the train system is really, really good, and it's really, really cheap. So that's, definitely a key tip. Here, this is Benalmadena. This is the Benalmadena cable car. It costs €20. I think I paid about €20 to go up, and you can see the views. The views are just absolutely stunning. Like, this is heading south now, and you can, on a really clear day, they say you can see Gibraltar. It's that high up. It's pretty scary going up there. I mean, it's, it's super high. If you like cable cars and, and you don't have any fear of heights, it's obviously pretty cool. But there was a couple of times when I had to hold on to the handrail, because there's a bit where it just goes almost, it's like 40-50 degrees straight up, and you're just, going really, really high. But once you get up there, it's really nice view. And there's a little restaurant there where you can get coffee, tea, beer or something. There's also a birds of prey show. I actually missed it. I think they run it 3 times a day, so make sure you check the times. Here you can see the advertisement. So it's on at 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and that was €5, and that's really worth going to. I got there just before it, and I didn't realize it was on. But if you do get the opportunity, it's definitely worth seeing. I was watching it from, up above, but I couldn't actually hear what they were saying, and I could only just see the birds. So, and this is the times for the cable car. Now, I made a bit of a mistake here, because when I came down off the cable car, I decided to walk to Benalmadena Harbour, and that was like a big mistake, because it was about 38 degrees, and I looked on the map, and I like to walk. I walk a lot, So for me, I'm thinking, yeah, I can walk this. The problem with it was I had to walk through this park, and then I had to walk all along this road here to get to the actual harbour, and it took me honestly about an hour and a half walking in the heat. And you can see that Ferris wheel, that's the actual harbour there. So if I was you, I'd try to find a bus or some other way if you want to go down to the harbour, because it really, really was a long walk. I couldn't the only reason I did actually walk was I wanted to take a bus, but I just couldn't find a bus that went near the cable car actually down to the harbour, because I only had Google Maps. And obviously Google Maps doesn't, have every single bus route, and it's not, perfect in that, so I had to walk it. So if you're like me and you want to, go from the cable car to the harbour, which is definitely worth seeing, might be worth, spending a bit of money and getting a taxi. So this is Benalmadena Harbour, and it's like actually really, really nice. I was quite shocked how big it was and what it actually was. You can see there's loads of shops, loads of places to eat. It's like a very, very rich area. This is what I think it is anyway. There's, you can see lots and lots of boats, a lot of like big boats as well there, and the harbour actually is quite large. This is the bit you're looking at here is kind of where all the shops are. But I walked right through this, and then I walked right round, and then when you go to the far side, you'll find a ferry that will take you from Benalmadena down to Fuengirola, and that's a really, really nice trip. If you want to, if you don't want to spend 40-50 euros on a ferry, to take you on a boat trip, like renting a private boat, like you can see the prices here, and you just want to do like sit on a boat and just enjoy the ocean, then I can highly recommend taking the ferry from Benalmadena down to Fuengirola. It takes about an hour. I had to wait about 40 minutes. You can see here it is here, Benalmadena down to Fuengirola, and it's not that expensive. I think I paid about €8 or something, which is like a really, really good price. And the boat's really nice. You can sit out on the deck. Although if you're going during the day, you obviously might want to sit in the, inside so you don't get burnt, because it is really, really hot on the water. But it was a really, really lovely trip, and it's a great way to do, a kind of cheap, cruise all along the coast. And you get to see basically, you get to see all the sights all the way down. I was actually able to see my hotel, like when I was passing Torreblana, I could actually see my hotel from the actual boat. So it was a really, really nice trip. And I think if you've got a bit of time, it's definitely worth going, definitely worth doing that. Now, there are plenty of day trips you can do from the Costa del Sol. I actually only did one day trip the whole 9 days I was there, and that was a day trip from Fuengirola down to Gibraltar. It was my second time in Gibraltar, but I hadn't been to Gibraltar for about 15 years, so I thought, because I was so close, I would pop down and see it again. And the prices kind of vary. I actually booked the trip down to Gibraltar in my hotel, and I find sometimes that you actually get a better deal booking trips in your hotel. They seem to be a lot, cheaper than if you book them along the tourist places along the waterfront. And I paid like €35 for my bus trip down to Gibraltar, which was, I thought that was a pretty good price. It's an all-day trip down there. You get back about 6 o'clock, 6 or 7 in the evening, depending on where your hotel is. The trip itself is quite nice. It's a couple of hours by bus, and as long as if you've been into Gibraltar before, you probably know about the queues. When we went in there, it wasn't too bad. We were only queuing for about half an hour before we actually got into Gibraltar, and I had about 4 or 5 hours actually in Gibraltar. So I had basically you could have done you could pay to do excursions, and I didn't bother. I think they had like dolphin watching or something that you could do, which was another like €80 or something, but I didn't bother to do it. So I just basically had a look around Gibraltar, and looked at the shops, had fish and chips there, like you do, I guess, which was actually quite nice as well. One of the things that I did do, you can see these steps here, and so I walked up to quite a high vantage point where you can see basically quite far down the coast and, all along. This is the Devil's Gap battery. This is where I walked up to. And the walk wasn't that hard, it's like... I would class it as a fairly easy walk. So if you can walk for a couple of kilometers, you should easily be able to walk up here at a slow pace. And you can see this is the view you'll get from here. That's as far as I went, really, but it was far enough because I was kind of like running out of time. So it was nice, and you get a really, really nice view of Gibraltar, of the marinas and all the boats, and you can even see, I think, Africa on a clear day. Which is like nice as well. So yeah. So if you have a spare day, it's a really, really good cheap trip to go down to Gibraltar if you've never been it. And if you're from the UK, it's kind of like, it's like going to a mini UK. You see, the usual shops like Marks and Spencer's and, things like that, and, telephone boxes. You can go right to the top of Gibraltar on the cable car, but apparently the queues are, really, really takes, really, really horrendous, and you got to queue for an hour or something just to get on them. This is, if you're interested, these two roads, Castle Road is the road I took, where you find, that takes you up to the Devil's Gap. The last place we're going to visit is Marbella. I got to Marbella from Fuengirola by taking local bus, and I think there's two different buses. I think there's a fast bus and a slow bus. I caught the fast bus, and if you want to know which one is a fast one or a slow one, where you catch the bus, right next to it is the bus information office, so you can go inside there. They speak English, and the guy told me, I'll wait for like 15 minutes because there's a faster bus. You'll save yourself half an hour. As usual, prices are like, it's a local bus, so local prices. So you're only paying €3 or €4, maybe a little bit more to get down there, but it's certainly, not expensive to go from Fuengirola to Marbella. I enjoyed Marbella. The beaches were, really, really nice. I didn't think they were anything particularly special, with regards to the rest of the Costa del Sol, but it was a nice place to visit. The thing that I did find really amazing was basically the old town. So I found it by just dumb luck, really. I was hot and I was thirsty. I wanted an ice cream and a cold drink and to get some food, and I just walked across the road, and all of a sudden I stumbled upon this place, and it's really, really nice. The old town is, it looks like it's, 200-300 years old. All the shops are kind of selling beautiful clothing, lots of knick-knack. It's basically just shopping and eating. So, if you're in Marbella and you want to get something to eat, or just want to go for a drink, or, a night out, it's a really, really good place to go. I stayed there till about 10 o'clock, and then I wasn't sure how late the buses were running, so I jumped back on a bus to Fuengirola, and that, the night bus took me about 45 minutes to get back, so it's definitely worth visiting there. So yeah, and just to wrap up, I really, really enjoyed my time on the Costa del Sol. This was the first time I was there, but I would definitely go back. I'm thinking about going back in 2024 because basically, I didn't get to see everything that I wanted to see, and I found it a really, really, really nice place to go on holiday. So I'm going to leave this video here now. Like I said, this was my first time on the Costa del Sol. There's obviously a lot of places that I didn't visit, and there's obviously places I want to go back to when I go there next time. But I hope it gives you a good, general idea of what to expect on the Costa del Sol, what the bars are like, what the beaches are like, how busy it is with tourists. And so basically I'm going to leave you with a few shots of the hotel I stayed in. This is the Monarch Fuengirola Hotel. It's really close to, it's about a 5 to 10 minute walk from Torreblana train station stop, which was really, really convenient. This is a 4-star hotel. I found it okay. I mean, I don't really do like hotel reviews. I would rather just put up some, videos of the hotel and let people judge for themselves. But it was okay. I wouldn't necessarily go back to this hotel again. It was 4-star. Like I said, and it was nice. I mean, I didn't have any real complaints about it. It wasn't like, super loud at night or too close to the, beach and bars. And it was really, really close to, the actual beach. You only had to walk across one road and basically you're right on the beach there. So the location for this hotel is really, really good. It's close to the train station. It's really close to there's a bus stop there where you can go down to Fuengirola, or you can go up to Malaga, and it's only, I think, 2 stops away from Fuengirola. So if you want to move away from the closer to Fuengirola rather than Malaga side, then it's a really, really, good option because it's further down and it's got a nice pool. It does get really, really busy in summer, and there is a outdoor grassy patch where you can go, and that gets super busy. They've got deck chairs there, but if you don't get there by 9 o'clock in the morning or 8, whenever they open it up, you won't get a deck chair at all. It's just it's that busy. And this is a photo from my hotel, from the balcony of my room, so you can see how close it is to the actual ocean. That's how close it is. It's it's really within walking distance. I just want to say, if you guys have liked this video, it would if you found it useful and got something out of it, it would really help the channel if you would like and subscribe. And I will be posting more videos on upcoming trips. So thank you for watching and have a nice day.